Alright, today we are going to be talking about area and finding area of parallelograms, okay, which we did have one vocabulary word today, which is area, and it says that it is the number of square units needed to cover a given surface. So that's actually kind of what we're talking about today, is we're going to be talking about finding the area of these shapes, and again, the area is the number of squares essentially needed to cover the shape. Okay, so let's talk about how we're going to find these. If you notice, I do have two vocabulary words here on at the top of, or excuse me, two formulas here at the top of our notes today. One is for parallelogram, and one of them is for a rectangle. Now they're slightly different, but they give us the same results. Okay, a parallelogram is area equals base times height, and a rectangle is area equals length times width. Okay, so let's take a look at number one. This is a rectangle, so we're going to be doing length times width. Well, our length, I'm going to say, is this guy right here, so that would be 10, and our width is 7.5. So in order to solve this, we have to do 10 times 7.5. Well, whenever I multiply those together, I get 750. Have to move my decimal over one place, which gives me 75. So I know that the area for this square right here is 75 square units. It's that simple. Okay? Sir, well, basically, I don't have a label up here for our units, and what I'm talking about is, like, let's say this said 75 feet, or excuse me, 7.5 feet, and this was 10 feet right here. When you multiply that together, you're going to get your answer is going to be 75 feet with a little 2 right there, and that means 75 square feet, okay? And that's talking about, you know, a foot. Well, a square, like if you can see this little square right here on my grid paper, there's be like 75 of these little squares inside of this shape. Okay, now there's not actually 75 on this because I didn't draw it to scale, but if I did, if we counted all the squares, it would actually be 75 squares inside of that shape. All right, it's that simple. Okay, let's take a look at number two. Number two is a little bit different because if you notice on this one, it gives us the answer, kinda. It gives us the area. Well, that's kind of convenient. No, it's not. What? Yeah, look, it gives us the area for that shape. It says the area is 1,080 square units on this one. But what it's asking us is hey, what is the length? Okay? We know what our width is. Our width is 24. Okay, so our length, we don't know what that is. That's what we're trying to figure out. Our width is 24, and our area is 1,080. Okay, so in order to figure this out, if we set this up, we would have, you know, our question mark right here times 24 equals 1,080. Now, how do we figure that out? Well, we have to work backwards. We know that some number times 25 equals 1,080. All right, so I apologize if I said, yeah, you're right, I wrote 25 on there, but that really should be 24. I don't know what I'm thinking. So we'll just mark that back out there and write down 24. Okay, so we have some number times 24 equals 1,080. Yeah, so we're going to have to divide that. That's right. So we need to take our 1,080 and divide by 24, and that'll tell us what we have to multiply to get our answer. Now, 24 goes into 108, what, 4 times? Which gives us 96. Leftover of 12, drop down my 0 there. 24 goes into 125 times, and actually that comes out to be 120. So on this one, our length is going to be 45. That's not that hard, but it is a little bit different look than number 1, but not much more difficult. All right, let's take a look at number 3. Number 3 is a parallelogram. Remember, a parallelogram is a shape that has two sets of parallel sides. Well, this has, look, these two sides are parallel and these two sides are parallel. So it's a little bit different because I have to do base times height. Now it's very, very similar to length times width, with one difference. On this one, the height always runs perpendicular to your base, meaning it makes a 90-degree angle. Okay, so make sure you use the height that runs perpendicular to your base. Now, if they give you one of these sides right here that's slanted, don't use that side. That's not the height. If you use that, you're going to get it wrong. Okay? So, now that we know what we need to use as our height and our base, okay, we know that our base is 6 2/3, and we know that our height is 3 1/3. Now, we have to multiply these two together. Look at this. We're multiplying fractions. So the first thing we need to do is what? That's right. I need to make it an improper fraction. So I'm going to use my popcorn method on these guys. Okay, so I'm going to use, let me see, what is this going to give me? This is going to be 18, 19, 20. So I have 20 over 3 for our base. And this guy down here, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10, so it's going to be 10 over 3. Now I'm going to multiply those. Let's see, 20 over 3 times 10 over 3. Multiply those guys straight across. 20 times 10 is 200 over 3 times 3 is 9. So I end up with 200 over 9. Now I'm not quite done yet because remember now I need to divide up. Running out of space here. But here, let me get another piece of paper so we can continue our work underneath here. So I need to divide up, which, yes, I'm going to take my 200 over 9. So I'm going to have 200 inside my division box, 9 on the outside. 9 goes into 22 times. 9 goes into 20 again 2 times. Left over of 2. So now I need to take this number or remainder and put it over my 9, the number I divided by. So that'd be 22 2/9. So my area for this shape right here is going to be 22 2/9. Not that hard. Now that one might be a little bit more difficult because we're multiplying fractions, but you know, multiplying fractions, you guys know how to do that. That's easy enough. And that wasn't that hard anyways. All right, questions on how we solve any of those? No? All right. Just remember, use your formula. We're multiplying these guys together today. Tomorrow we'll be working on multiplying, or excuse me, area of triangles. So it's important that we understand how to do this. All right, let's get to work.